Hey everyone, thanks for joining me today. This is Scott. I'm here with Corporate Fitness Works from Hesperia Fitness Center. You're tuned in today for our Mobility and More class. Today's class we're going to have a focus slightly on our ankle mobility, so we'll be doing a lot of ankle, calf, and lower body stuff in there today. We'll be mixing in some core work as well. So as you see behind me, all we need for class today is a mat for some core and stuff we'll do on the floor. I've got a med ball for my weight today, 6-pound resistance, so any one single weight that you have will be just fine. It doesn't have to be a med ball, just make sure we're not overloading on the weight too much. And then you'll see that I've got 2 boxes behind me, so a bench or anything will work for you fine here. I'm going to start seated on the tall one. Really anything about knee height or roughly somewhere in there will be great. If you've got that, so you can use some stairs, or if you have a bench, that'd be great, or a box that you can use, we'll use that as well. So that's all we'll need for class. Make sure that we also have your sweat towel and a water bottle nearby. We won't be too intense today, but we want to make sure that you have that available to you if you need to take a quick break, grab yourself a drink or wipe some sweat. So we're going to go ahead and jump back to our box and get started today. And we are actually going to start just using a timer today. And we're going to start shoes off, and we're going to start just warming up these ankles, getting some mobility in these ankles and calves here that we often have a lot of tightness with. So we're going to just start our first one here. We're going to kick shoes off so we can really get the full effect here to start out. So we'll slip those shoes back on, but feel free to do what's comfortable for you. If you'd like to keep those shoes on, go right ahead and do so. We can't stop you, of course, but we want to make sure we can get the full effect, feeling these ankles, moving around and see what we're doing with our feet here to start. So for our first one here, we're just going to do circles, and we'll switch directions over 30 seconds. So we like to do both of them at the same time if you want to do circles that way. So we're going outward right now. Those toes are coming over the top and going out. Then we'll switch that direction, right, and we'll go circles into the other way. So we got 30 seconds on the clock for each one. We're going to go ahead and start here in about 5 seconds. So pick a direction. We can get both legs going. And we're going to start right about now. So nice, slow, big, broad circles here, trying to really feel that range of motion, getting to those full extension points all the way around. We might hear some crackling, and that's okay, some popping sounds. That means we're just getting those joints loosened up, right? So don't be afraid if we hear some crackling. Do try to take note if we're feeling tight at any point. We can remember that and feel like we can work on that range of motion there. So we're going to go ahead and switch your direction. So there's our first 30. So same idea, nice, big, slow, broad circles here. Feeling out that range of motion. Hearing some popping, some crackling, right? We're getting all those individual ankle joints woken up. We've got a bunch of bones in that ankle complex right there that don't always like to move. So we're going to keep them moving, right? We're getting them loose. So we're starting to feel loose. Just a few more big circles here. We got about 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and good. So that's our first set. Go ahead and shake those feet out, shake those ankles out. We're feeling like we're getting woken up already, right? So next one here. We got 60 seconds on the clock, and so we're going to do flexion and extension, or what's called dorsiflexion and plantar flexion. So dorsiflexion, we're curling toes up to our chest or towards our face. Plantar flexion, we're pointing those away. So we can feel a nice deep stretch across the top of the ankle probably when you get into full plantar flexion, right? And hopefully we can get a good squeeze, pull those toes back up during the dorsiflexion. So first one here, a full 60 seconds, just working on squeezing and finding that end range of motion, pointing toes and curling them up towards our body here. We'll start in 5 seconds. So get ready, nice and slow. We're going to go for a full minute on this one here. So there's our time. So when we pull that back into dorsiflexion, we're feeling that on the top of our ankle, and then we're pointing our toes down, making sure we're pointing away. We get a little tight, we might feel a cramp. As we push that toe away, we might feel a little cramp in the arch of our foot. So push and squeeze for 2-3 seconds if you can. Try to tolerate that cramping there. We want to hold it, right? We don't want to give up on it unless we really start to cramp and we have to pull that toe back, we can. But we'll feel that hopefully start to loosen up and cramp less as we go through. So do your best, point those toes down until that cramp kicks in a little bit. We might feel that especially on the sides of our calves as well. We're getting a good stretch in some of those extra muscle groups on the sides of our legs that we don't get to all the time when we stretch and we point those toes. So 10 more seconds here, big squeezes up into dorsiflexion and in plantar flexion. Good, so we got one more on each spot. So we're up in dorsiflexion, big squeeze, and then we're pointing those toes down. One more nice long toe point, feeling those calf muscles on the side stretch out. Good, so go ahead and shake it out. That's our second movement there. So we're going into our next one for a full minute. We're gonna do what's called inversion and eversion. So you can kind of think about this as if we roll our ankle, right? We've inverted our ankle and we kind of step and we roll out onto the side. So we're kind of mimicking that. We're suspended here, so no pressure on the joints, right? But we want to kind of think about this as keep our knees still, but when we invert, we're going to show the bottoms of our feet to each other, right? So we see those almost like we were going to put our feet together, and then for eversion, we're rotating outward as if we were kind of seeing how our knees are going. So try to keep it away from the knees, but you can use those to help you get into those positions a little better. So one more minute there. Same idea. We're going into inversion and then out into eversion, holding each position for 2-3 seconds and on to the next one. So we're starting in 2, 1, and off we go. So we're going to start trying to keep those knees as stable as we can. We're showing the soles of our feet to each other for inversion, and then we're trying to pull those feet and those pinky toes up and out to get that eversion, and then we're back to trying to keep it at the ankle. Our knees are going to move a little bit, and that's okay, right? But we can keep our hands here to try and minimize that. So we're feeling that good stretch still everywhere we go. We might still feel a little bit of cramping when we're in inversion as we show those soles of our feet together. We can squeeze that arch. We're going to work on that arch here in a little bit, so just keep this steady movement going here. We're showing the soles of our feet, and then we're showing the outsides of our feet to the outside there. So about 15 seconds, get 1 or 2 more squeezes in each position. So starting to feel these ankles loosening up a little bit, right? A couple more. Let's get one more in each. So we're in inversion, showing those soles of our feet together, and then the last one, externally rotating outwards, getting that eversion, showing the bottoms of our feet to the sides. Good. So, excuse me. There's our next one. Good. So we're going to go ahead and shake those feet out, right? We've done a lot so far. So squeeze your toes, flex and extend in our toes here just a little bit to get some life in our feet. So as we flex and extend, we're going to feel that arch here. Toes are curling and then extending just for a few more seconds to get some of that activity in our foot. So our foot is close to our ankle, right? So we want to make sure our foot is strong, all these foot muscles, everything are working properly. So we're going to move on here. We're going to scoot forward on our bench or wherever we're seated here, and we want to get these feet flat on the surface of the ground here. So we're going to do 10 big squeezes for our arch, just squeezing the arch, right? Trying to get some of that action in the arch. So you may feel a cramp coming on here. My right arch likes to cramp up on me, so it's something I work on. So please just squeeze as best you can, and then if you have to relax it, right? But feet are flat on the ground, and I want you to imagine if we push our big toe into the ground, you're just gonna squeeze your big toe back toward your heel, right? So we're just kind of imagining if our hands were flat and we're just gonna try and squeeze our fists together, only we're using our feet, right? So we're just gonna do 10 big long squeezes with about a 5-second hold to try and get these arches fired up here. So find a comfortable seat. We want a little pressure on the floor. If you'd like to use your mat as well, if we got a slippery floor like I do, it might be better to be on the mat so we can feel our toes squeezing a little better. So here, we're squeezing our toe down into the mat, and we're gonna pull and curl our toes up back to our heel. We feel that arch activate, right? So gonna feel a cramp probably, right? So go ahead and in between each one, if you wanna extend those toes back up to stretch out that arch a little bit, we can do that. So there's our first one. So another big squeeze here. Toes into the mat, pulling those toes, curling up. We can look down and see that that arch is raising up, right? So relax it. Squeeze our toes back. One more big squeeze here. We're keeping going. Number 3, squeeze and hold. Squeeze those toes into the ground and relax. Good. Extend those toes up. Stretch the arch. Come back up into dorsiflexion if you need to. Lift that sole off the ground. Good. Number 4, big squeeze here. Squeeze in. 4, 3, 2, and 1. And relax. We're going to keep it going. Come back up into dorsiflexion. Extend those toes if we need to. Here's number 5. Halfway there. We're feeling that arch working hard, right? Might be a little sore, a little crampy. We got to get big squeezes. And we're cramping up in the toes so we can curl up if we need to. We hopefully will feel that cramping sensation diminish as we go through these reps, right? So here we're keeping it going. Big squeeze, number 6 here. Squeeze it and stretch and relax. Good. A couple more here. We're going to go number 7. Lay those feet flat. Feel free to reset if you need to. Walk those feet around. Find a good spot. Lay them nice and flat. And here we're ready to go. Big squeeze. Curling those toes up. We can see that arch activate, right? That's what we want, that big foot strength. So we're relaxing down. We got 3 more. Lift those toes. Extension, dorsiflexion. Everything we need to relax that arch. We got 3 more. Here we go. Put that foot down. Big squeeze. Curl those toes in. We're feeling the arch working hard. Relax. 2 more big squeezes. Here we go. Put those feet down. Shake it out. Reset if you need to. Big squeeze. Curl that big toe in. Really working on the big toe. All the toes should be squeezed. And relax. Up into dorsiflexion. Curl those toes up towards the sky, right? Open up that foot in the arch. Last one here. Big squeeze. Foot's down. Curling up those toes. Big squeeze in the arch. We should see that arch. We can visually get that cue if we took our shoes off, right? And relax down. Last one. Nicely done. Okay. There's our foot arch squeezes. So our arch should be nice and woken up now, feeling like we got some movement in there. So we're going to go ahead and come up onto our feet. So we can do you can do shoes on or off for this one if you'd like, whatever you want to do. So we're going to do some heel walking and toe walking to really keep warming up and working on these ankle muscles and our shin and calf muscles. So our first one, we're going to do our toe walk. So we're up on our toes, right? We're going to go 20 paces one way, 20 paces the other way. So just nice small steps. We're up on our toes and we're trying to do that the whole time. So we're taking 20 paces each direction down and back. Use what space you have. If you can't get a full 20, do your best. You can go to 12 and turn around or do groups of 10. But we're shooting for 20 one direction. We're going to turn around and come back the same direction, 20. And we're taking really small baby steps here, just trying to focus on staying up on the toe. So it's really going to work our calf muscles on the back, as well as our peroneal group right on the side of our leg there. So here we're up on our toes here for our first 20. Nice little small baby steps. Make sure we're squeezing that big toe into the ground like we just were. (18, 19, and 20). Good. So we're feeling the calves working really hard there for just that small amount of movement. So if we're focused on driving that big toe down and staying up on our toes, our legs and our calf muscles are working really hard. So we're down back to our original spot, 20 more toe walks, raising up on those toes, and we're squeezing that big toe into the ground, and we're taking our baby steps. (18, 19, and 20). Good. Those should feel really tough for our ankles. If you're not feeling too much, I would encourage you guys to try and take your shoes off and make sure we can get that nice contact with the ground to make sure our toes and our arch and our foot muscles are all doing what they want to do. Shoes are great to walk in, but of course that does kind of trick our foot sometimes. We like to have this nice strong presence of our foot touching the ground to do these movements. So please feel free to join me in taking your shoes off if you have that ability where you're at today. So we're going to move on to the next one, is our heel walking. Same concept, so we take little baby steps. We're going over to one side 20 paces, and we're going to come back. So now our heel walk is going to focus on our big tibialis muscle that runs right along our front shin bone. This one's what's responsible for shin splints a lot. So if we've suffered from shin splints from before, we want to work on strengthening that tibialis muscle. Excuse me. And here's a great way to do it. So especially for a nice dynamic warm-up, we like this heel walk for the tibialis. So same idea, we're up on our toes here. We're up on our heels. My toes are extended and pointed, and we're taking 20 paces, small steps. And we got to 20. So we should feel a nice burn right there along that front of our shin, right on the outside of our shin bone is our big tibialis anterior right there. So we're going to do that same thing, 20 paces back. Feel free to get up on those heels, curl those toes up and back towards your head, right? So we get that nice full flexion of our tibialis muscle right on the front. And then you can even look down. If we pull up our foot, we can even visualize that muscle contracting there and getting a nice big hold. So here we are for our 20 steps. Keep those toes pointed up. And 20, good. So go ahead and shake those ankles out. We might still be getting some popping and crackling. That's okay. That means we're waking these muscles up. We're getting some motion in those joints and all those ankle joints, all those little bones that are rubbing together. So that's perfectly fine to hear that crackling as long as we don't have any pain. Make sure we stop if we have any kind of pain, of course, and seek some help from a provider, of course. But we like that little crackling noise. That means we're doing something right? So we're going to get ready to go ahead and move on here for our next one. So we're going to want a small riser, a deck or a bench or something here. This one is right below my knee height, which is going to be perfect for what we're doing here on this one. So we're going to get up into that position. So shoes can stay on or off at this point. It's totally up to you, however you do it. We're going to get up into this position, and we're going to put our foot up in front of us and then kind of sink forward into almost a lunge position. We want to force that knee to come over our toe as best we can. I know a lot of times you've probably been told we don't want our knee to go past our toes, but a good strong ankle and knee can totally do that safely. We just want to make sure we're doing it properly. So we're going to take a few, just leaning into it here, feeling that stretch across the back of our ankle, Achilles area there. Take about 3 or 4 leaning into it, and then we're going to go take a step forward, and then we're going to push our knee out to the side on each side. So we'll let that look like here from the front. So let's get back to this leg. So we're here, we're going to lean forward onto that, and we feel that stretch behind here, and now we're going to push our knee outward. So we're feeling a little bit of a motion on the outside of the knee there, or I'm sorry, the outside of the ankle, and then we push, we're going to bring that ankle inward, knee inward, and we feel that in the ankle. So we try to keep our feet as flat as we can here on the riser. It's going to want to move a little bit, but we want to keep that foot down, and we're just getting that motion with the knee there. So try and keep your foot as flat as we can, and we're going to do 3 on each direction. We did 3 kind of coming up forward, and we're going to do 3, a total of 6 if we're alternating. So we did our 3 forward, we did 1 pair on each side. So I'm back in my position here, and I'm driving that knee out. So trying to keep my foot flat, and we're holding for about 5 seconds, 2, 1, and then we're back to a normal, neutral, and then we're going to drive that knee inward, feeling that arch flatten a bit, but we're getting all that motion at the knee, or at the ankle for the other direction. So one more time, pushing each direction here. So we lean forward into it, open that knee up, trying to keep our foot as flat as we can. 3, 2, 1, and then we're pulling the knee inside. So we feel that arch flatten. Typically, this is a pattern that we want to avoid when we're squatting, right? We don't want to see this knee come in. For the sake of our range of motion, we want to be able to find that at the end. So go ahead and relax. We're going to switch to our other leg. Now the same idea. So we're going to go right into our first 3. We're pushing forward, getting that knee past our toes if we can. As like I said, that can be unsafe if we're not conditioned for it, but moving our knee past our toes is a very sport-specific or movement-specific, or it's very, it's a very natural movement if we're conditioned for it. So most folks just don't have that range. We want to try and find it, right? So third one, leaning forward, feeling that good stretch on the Achilles back there on the back of our leg. And now we're going to stay in that spot, and we'll pick alternating sides, 3 on each side for a total of 6. So leaning forward into it, and we're going to go inside here first, trying to keep that foot as flat as we can. 3, 2, and 1, and we'll drive that knee out. Feeling the ankle moving hard. We might be feeling some more crackling and everything else, right? So there's 1 set. Go ahead and lean up off of it if you need to. We'll lean back forward into it, and then we'll do in and out once again here. We've got 2 more sets. So let's go ahead and lean up onto that foot again. Trying to drive that knee past our toe if we can. And then we're going to tilt inside. 3, 2, 1, and outside. Driving that knee outside of our ankle. Trying to keep our foot down. 2 and 1. Back to neutral. Good. We're going to do 1 more. All right, keep it moving here. Keeping that knee pushing forward. Feeling a good stretch on the Achilles back there. And inside. Foot as flat as we can. 3, 2, and 1. Drive that knee outside the ankle complex there. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Okay. We're going to go ahead and keep it moving. We're going to get into a little bit more movement here in just a minute. We got those ankles nice and loose, right? So we're going to go ahead and keep it moving onto, we're going to kick our blocks back a little bit here. So if you'd like to get shoes back on here, you can. We're going to keep the tone with our feet trying to feel the ground here though. So if you can, stay shoeless. You have that with you, otherwise shoes will be okay. So we're going to go into just a 60-second here, a sumo squat, kind of a sumo shift here. So we're not going to quite do a full squat, but we want to get a nice wide base with our feet here. And we're going to slowly shift our weight almost into lateral lunges, right? And what our goal here is to keep our toes forced down into the ground. So that's going to get a nice stretch across the top of the ankle complex. We can kind of twist and open up, right? But we want to keep that tension high. So don't lift the toe. Keep that toe pointed down. As we shift this way, we're feeling that ankle working hard and stretching out. So 60 seconds goes on our clock here. Slowly shifting our weight back and forth here. Sinking into that. We'll hold it. We're getting some work on our quads and everything else right here. So we'll start that in 3, 2, 1. And the clock is ticking for our full minute. We're going kind of into a half lateral lunge. So shoot those hips back a little bit, right? Our plant leg is working hard. And my toes are forcing down into the ground there. Feeling that nice stretch across the top of the ankle complex as we sink in. So sink down until you can find a good stretch and then go right past that point and come back up and keep gently switching here. So we're getting some dorsiflexion here as the knee flexes over the toes here, and we're keeping that toe down, getting some plantar flexion and stretching across the top of the ankle joint on the opposite leg. So we've got about 20 seconds left here. Sinking a couple more on each side. We can pick up the pace a little bit as we become more comfortable with our movement now. Forcing toes down at all times, right? We want to feel those toes and ankles working hard. So 10 seconds left. Keep shifting. We should also be feeling that stretch on the inner groin and thigh, right? Last one on each side. So there's one, and finishing strong over here. So we got a little time under tension on the quads as well, right? So feeling those ankles loosening up. Take a break here. Roll those ankles out. We're feeling like they're working hard, right? Ankles and toes are getting tired here, but we got more to go. So keep with me here if you can. Feel free to take a break. Grab a drink if you need it. We're going to come down onto our mat here for a little bit, and we're going to do the same thing with our toe. We want to keep that toe. We're going to come into a tabletop position here, and we kick that foot out to our side. And from here, we want to make sure, again, that our foot stays flat. We don't want to roll back and open up that toe here, open up the hip. So keep those feet flat, toes pointed forward here as best you can. And then we're sinking back onto our heel. So we're feeling that stretch again across the top of the ankle complex. And we got a really big stretch on the inner thigh here now. So we're going to do about 5 of those reps with a nice slow hold for 5 seconds or so. And then we're going to finish with 20 seconds static. So kick that leg out, toes pointed forward, feet's flat on the ground, so we should already feel that nice stretch across the top of our ankle, right? Sitting back onto our heel, big stretch across the top, and we're going to do 5 of those. Here's number 2, sinking onto it. Big stretch in here as well. Here's number 3. We've got some movement in my ankle, so hopefully you guys are moving around too. 2 more. We can hear it, we can feel it. 4, big, huge stretch on top of the ankle there. Last one, we're going to sink into here. And we're going to hold this one for 20. So make sure those toes stay down flush against the ground. Working hard. 5, 4, 3, 2, and come on forward. Great job. So we're going to kick the other leg out. Same complex. Same idea, we're going to go for 5 reps, and on that 5th one we hold for 20 seconds. So kicking that leg out, remembering our cues here, we want that foot to stay as flat as we can. Toes are down and pointed forward here, and we're going to sink back for our first one of 5. Holding for about 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, should be feeling that nice stretch across the ankle. Rep number 2 of 5, sitting back onto that heel. Big stretch on the inner thigh as well here. 2, 1, and back up. Number 3. 3, 2, 1, and relax. We got one more quick one, and then we'll do our 20-second hold. Sink back onto that heel. 5, 4, 3, 2, reset that foot if you need to. Make sure those toes are coming forward. All that foot's as flat as you can get it. Last one here, a 20-second hold. So sinking back onto that foot, onto our heel, excuse me. We got those toes pointed forward, foot's working hard, feeling that big stretch across the top of the ankle. 10 seconds left. Keep holding. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Nicely done. So come up off of that, feeling that stretching on the inner thigh as well as the ankle. We're going to come through a nice complex here to keep on working. We're going to add a little bit more resistance in here, so we're going to start working a little bit harder. Here's where we may want to get those shoes back on if we haven't yet. We're going to start doing a little bit more weight intensive movements here. So go ahead and slip those shoes back on. If you're comfortable barefoot, go right ahead and stay that way. We're putting our shoes back on as we get a little bit more movement here. We're going to want some more support. So the first one here, we're going to start with a complex, and we're going to go through this complex 3 times. This is a modified inchworm that we're adding some things to for a little bit of full body. We're integrating some full body and some core into this here to start. So we're going to walk out our inchworm like we normally do into tall plank. So that looks like this here. We're coming right onto at the end of our mat if we'd like to. So we hinge forward, feel that stretch on our glutes and hamstrings, and then we're going to walk those hands out into our tall plank. From here, we typically take a step in, and we're actually going to hang our hips, and we're going to look over that shoulder there, twisting our core back that way, and we'll hold for a second. Then we're twisting to our other way, feeling that lateral abdominal cavity stretch a bit. We're coming back into here. We're going to walk our toes up into a pike position, right? So come up into tall plank, walking toes as best we can. So now we're feeling that nice stretch on our calves. We can force our heels down. Hopefully they can touch the ground. Mine can't, but we're a little too tight. So we're there, we're feeling that nice stretch, and then we're going to go walk it back out into just a classic tall plank. From here, we can kneel for our step in, and then we're going to reach up to the sky. So a little bit modified from our typical inchworm that we usually do. So we're in kneeling position, step in and twist. So we're going to walk that all the way back. We'll come back into tall plank, walk hands up into our inchworm start. So that's number 1. We're going to run through that total twice more, and then we'll get into a little bit more heavy duty weight stuff here as we move on. So let's finish our 2 complexes here. So adding in some extra stuff from our typical inchworm complex that we like to use. So here we go, we're inching out, down into that tall plank, hands down to the mat. Nice big stretch on our hamstrings. From here, we like to sag our hips, and then we're looking over your shoulder to each side. So we get a nice big stretch on that abdominal oblique section of our body there as we twist and look over the shoulder, hold for a few seconds. From there, we're back into tall plank, where we have our walk up. So we're walking those toes up to our hands as best we can. Feeling that tight stretch on our calves and hamstrings back there. Hold for about 5 seconds. 3, 2, driving those heels down, and back, step back into tall plank, where we can then drop our knee and come up for our full body twist. So a bit different from our typical inchworm progression that we like, but it's good nonetheless, right? We're adding some more of that low body stretching in there, adding in some of our core stretching as well. So we got to come back into tall plank and walk it out back to the top. And we've got one more time through that whole complex. So we're walking walking our hands out into that tall plank from our original starting point here with our inchworm. So keep those hips shot back, nice flat back, big stretch on our hamstrings and posterior chain while we walk out into our tall plank. We're sinking, hips down to the mat. Take that look over your shoulder, feel a big stretch on our core. 3, 2, and looking the other way for about 3 seconds. 3, 2, and come on back into tall plank, where we walk our hands up to pike, walk our feet up towards our hands into pikes, and now we're in this nice V position as best you can be, and we're driving heels down into the mat, feeling a stretch on our calves. 5, 4, 3, 2, and walk those feet back for tall plank. We can drop the knee, step in for our twist today. And back to tall plank to walk it up. One more time, all the way back to the top. Here we are. Good. So we made it through our inchworm complexes there. We're going to take a wall. We'll hopefully have something that can help support you. And we're going to do some single leg calf raises here in 2 different positions. And these are going to help work on those nice calf muscles, strengthening our ankle, right? So our first one for 10 reps on each leg is just a classic toe raise here. So pick your foot, whatever you want to do for support, and we're just going to come up onto our toe from this nice straight leg position here, working our Gastrocnemius is our superficial calf muscle. So you can put that toe of your other foot right behind it. That helps you balance. And we got 10 reps on each leg here. So we're coming up on those toes, trying to squeeze. We should feel like our calf is working pretty hard here. Single leg calf raise. Almost there. 7. Keep driving those toes into the ground. 8. 2 more. 9 and 10. Good. So we got to do the same thing on the other leg. So straight leg, calf raise on the single leg. Really focus on making that calf work really hard, right? So I'm going to turn the other way. My support, and I'm hooking that foot right behind my heel there, just for a little bit of extra balance to help me. And then we're just coming up onto those toes on that single foot 10 times. 2, 3, 4. Might be easier or harder on one side, so make sure you take that into consideration, right? 5, 6. We want to strengthen that weak side if so. 7, 8. 2 more. Big squeezes. We're getting tired in the legs, right? 9 and 10. So that's a great single leg set for our Gastrocnemius. That's our big muscle up here on top, those big calf muscles that we can see, right? So underneath that is our soleus muscle, a longer muscle that runs right below that big calf muscle that we think about. And how we tax that exercise, or how we tax that muscle for exercise, is that we do those toe raises in this flexed position at the knee. So that's going to change our knee and ankle recruitment. So what we do there is just pick one leg, right? So you can use 2 hands if you want some more support on your wall, leaning forward. And then we sink into this position here with that flexed ankle and foot. And then we're doing our toe raise like so. So find a way that's comfortable for you. You're more than welcome to lean on the wall, and you just sink into that squatted position. And then we're going to do the same thing we just did, 10 reps, except we're having that knee and ankle start with bend, and that's going to recruit our other calf muscle there. So we're here, and we're raising that toe up like so. We want to try and get that kickstand leg going. If we can use some support for the wall, that would be great. So find what works for you. I might actually stack my boxes here. This is going to help get me to the height I like for my support. So now from here, I squat down. You can put that toe back there again if you need to. And we're raising up 10 times on each leg. 2, 3, 4, 5. Might feel different, and it should, right? We're using a different muscle. So 6, we're taxing our quad a little bit, staying in that squatted position. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. So one more set for the single legs. We'll do that same thing. We've got our other leg going. So find your base of support, whether it's the wall, a bench, a table, whatever you got. Sink into that squatted position, and we're driving up off that single squatted leg here. So get ready to go for your 10 reps. Support however you need it. Get down in there like so. Find that spot. So our ankle should be working hard. That big toe, like we talked about earlier, is working hard. And we got 10 reps. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Almost there. Keep driving those up. 8, 9. Lower leg is working really hard. And 10. Good. We should feel that fatigue. Okay, nicely done. That's it for our single leg raises. We're going to go ahead and move on to our last block. We have a few movements here for lower body strength, and we had a little core mixed in there. So we're going to go ahead and take it away. We should get through about 2 laps through this here. We're going to start in tall plank, and we're going to do some side step taps here. So we got 20 reps total to start there for the first one. So get down onto your mat here. If you need some support for our hands or wherever we are. And we're coming up into tall plank just to start our core, and we're tapping the foot out to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got to work extra hard on that plant toe, right? We just talked about all our toe muscles. So keep that toe and calf muscle active as we switch legs here. We got 1 more on each side. There's 19 and 20. Nicely done. So there's our first one. Got a little bit of shoulders and chest and core involved. We're going to pick up our weight now, our med ball, for our first one here. And we've got 20 reps, alternating sides. And we're doing a lateral step, which will continue taxing that ankle range of motion. And we're doing a press out with our ball here. So what that looks like is we're going to step out. So my plant foot stays pointed forward to get rotation, and we're stepping. So we should see that ankle this way. So this toe stays forward. My other toe goes along the direction I'm stepping. And then we step out and reach that ball. So there's 1. We got to alternate 2. We got to get to 20. So we're getting some range of motion, we're getting some rotation at the ankle there, as well as we see that front foot stay forward while the rest of our body turns a different direction. So we're about halfway done. Let's keep it going here. We got to get that press out. Don't forget your press to get a little bit of chest, core, and arms in there. Trying to keep those toes down. 1 more on each side. 19 and 20. Good. Way to go. There's our lateral step with our reach. We're going to go to our last one here for the block. We'll repeat a few times through, and then we'll finish up. So this one here, we got to get 20 reps, and this one's going to tax us quite a bit on our lower body and our calf. So this is a squat with a Soleus raise and a Gastrocnemius raise, just like we did on our wall, but they're together. So first one, we're going to start with a toe raise for number 1. We just come up with our weight right here. We can do body weight if we want to as well. So right here, up into our toe raise, number 1. And then we step out into our squat, and then we do a toe raise down here, and then we come back up. So there's 1. Here's number 2. 3. Step out, find that spot where your squats, knees are going outwards, up onto those toes. 4. 5. Step out, don't forget the squat, toe raise, back down, and back up. 6. 7. Almost halfway, keep it up. Here's number 9 and 10. Stepping out into our classic squat, that squatted toe raise. There's number 10. Good. So take a break if you need to. Drop the weight, adjust whatever you need to adjust. We got to finish our back half of our 10. We'll run through one more time of the whole thing, and then we'll see how we're doing. So we're ready to go. We're back to our back half of that 10. So we're starting with the classic toe raise here, right weight in hand, up, squeezing those calves, and then we step out into our squatted raise. Here's number 2, or number 12. Right here comes 13. 14. halfway through this second set. Keep it going. We got 5 more. Stepping back into that narrow stance. 5. 4. 3. Almost there. Finish it strong. Get that squatted raise. 2. And last combo here. Up for that regular toe raise. Step it out. Knees are out. Squat, raise, and finish up back to the starting point. Great job. Nicely done. We're going to drop our ball. Going back to the top. We got to get through our 3 spots again. So we're going to our tall plank with those tap outs, making sure we stay up on those toes on that plant foot. Got to work hard keeping that calf and toe active. Then we'll come back for our lateral step outs, and we got 1 more set to 20 of those squats with raises. So we're going to get down here into tall plank. Feel free to drop into an elbow plank if we want to challenge our core a little bit more here. Tall plank is just fine, and we're mixing in those tap outs with the foot at the bottom. So we're ready to go here. 1 more set of 20 in tall plank, or your elbow plank with tap outs is a great option as well to tax our core a little bit more here. So here we go. We're up in tall plank. We got 20 reps. Get up on those toes. Make our calves and ankles and toes work hard here, right? So here we go. 1. 3. 4. Almost there. 16, stay up on those toes. 17, 18, 19, and 20. Nice job. Dropping down. Feeling like we worked our chest and shoulders a little bit, right? Changing that base around. So we're coming back up. We got our last 2 rounds through for our block here. So we've got our step outs with that med ball, making sure our toe stays forward, and then we're leaning forward, getting that angle at my knee and ankle there, so making sure we're trying to extend that knee forward as comfortably as you can, of course. Alternating to our 20, then we'll go back to our 20 of our squat with our calf raises there. So we'll split those up into 10 again if we need to. So let's get our med ball back 1 more time. We're alternating to 20. Don't forget to plant that foot. Make sure we've got that nice 90-degree angle in the direction that our toes are pointing when we step out. And don't forget your press out. Get a little bit of core activity and keep our chest and upper body involved a little bit as best we can here. So we got to get to 20 alternating. Here we go. Ready to go. 1. So we're thinking about what our feet and knees are doing right during that movement for our press out. There's 3. 'Keep it up. Take a break if you need to. We got 7 right there. 8 of 20 coming up. 8. 9. Halfway there. Take a break if you need it. Keep those toes down, making sure we're getting those angles. There's halfway, so reset if you need to. Grab a drink, wipe your sweat if we're getting sweaty. Ready to keep moving for our back half of our 10 here. Focus on those feet and ankles. What are they doing here? Halfway through our back set. Here's number 6. 7. 8. Push it out. We've got 1 more set on each leg. 1 more rep, excuse me. 9. Back half. And the last one. Stepping out. And get that press. 10. Nicely done. We're feeling like we're working hard now. We're going to hurry up for our last set here of our 20 with that toe raise, narrow base with our squatted toe raise at the bottom. Really working on feeling these calves and getting some time under tension for the quads today. So we got 20 reps. We'll split them in half again. Let's get to 10. We're starting with that weight right under our chin. Body weight, of course, is just fine if you need to do that, excuse me. And we're gonna head and start with our first 10 here. So weight is ready to go, up onto a toe raise. 1. Step out, get that nice external rotation at the knee for our squat. And finish the squat before we step in. 2. 3. Nice job, guys. Keep it up. We're almost at the end here. Pushing through a little bit of strength to finish us up. Here's number 4. Stepping into 5. Halfway through our first set. Nice job, guys. Keep it up. 6. 'Almost there, let's keep it going. 8, almost there, stepping out. Big squat, hold that for our raise there. 9. 'Last one before a quick mini break right here's number 10. Squat it out, get down there, up onto toes for 10, and reset. Good, so drop the weight, shake it out if you need to. We got 10 more reps. We're coming right back to it. Finishing strong, working these legs, working quads and ankles here. So shake out the hands if we're holding that weight right. We need a real recovery. We're jumping right back into it here. So final 10 on the books here. So let's get it. Starting in our narrow spot. Toe raise, 1. Finish the squat before we step back in for number 2. 3 of 10, let's go. 4, come on, come on. Feeling the burn in those legs, right? Finishing the squat. 5. Don't forget the bottom toe raise. Here we go, our back half. 6. 5 more reps total, let's go. Knees are out. 6. There was 7. Come on, 7. Up. Stepping into 8. Nice and wide knees. Squat down here. 8. Back up. Step in for 9. Almost there. Up. Last one. Step in for that final narrow calf raise. Stepping out. Big knees. Wide squat. Sink all the way down in there. Big toe raise. And finish strong at the top. There we have it. That's our second round of 20. Nice job, guys. We worked up a little sweat. Let's stretch our ankles here a little bit. Stretch those calves and ankles. We worked really hard on those. So quick 20 or 30 seconds. We'll pull our heels back up this way. We'll get a stretch across the top of our ankle as well as our calf muscle here. So big pull. Try and scoot your hand back to those toes so we can really pull on the toes and stretch across the top of that ankle right there, right? So 10 seconds left here before we switch. Should feel a nice pull in the quads as well as the front side, the top of the ankle there. In 4, 3, 2, 1, and let's kick the other leg up. So switching sides, try and grab towards the end of the foot, right in that toe region, so we feel that nice pull across the top of the ankle. And of course, we're pulling on the quads as well. 20-second hold. Big pull. Finishing our cool down here. Ready to relax in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Kick that foot down. We're going to face the wall and do some stretching that way. Static stretch now. So we're facing our wall. Drive your heel straight down into the ground behind you. Big long plant leg. So I'm working on my back leg here. 20 seconds. Drive your heel into the ground. Here we go. Big squeeze on that heel, pushing our foot into the ground. 10 seconds. Keep driving that foot. Lean forward. Feel the stretch on our calf. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So switch, kicking your other leg out. Tension is on the back leg as we drive that heel down. 20 seconds. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and drive. There we go. Big stretch there. Trying to lock that knee out. Ten seconds, keep it going. Two, 1, and relax. Nicely done. We'll finish up, come back to your seated position on your bench or your riser, whatever you have, and we'll just do a few more circles here, 10 circles or so in each direction. Just finish relaxing those ankle muscles and all those foot muscles we just used. So 10 circles in each direction and we'll call it a day. 9 and 10. Good. Take a few more seconds. Shake those ankles out. A few more calf stretches if you want. A few more seconds on that wall, forcing your ankle down toward the ground. So there we have it, folks. That was our mobility and more today, focused on ankle mobility. So we did lots of quads, we did lots of calves, right? Trying to work on stretching those ankles, increasing that range of motion, getting stronger and more stable at the ankle. So as always, guys, please leave me some feedback, comments, likes, what you liked, what you didn't like. I love hearing from you guys either way. I want to make this class what you guys want, so please give me some feedback. We hope we'll see you back here at the fitness center soon. I'm Scott with Corporate Fitness Works from Aspiria Fitness Center. We'll see you next time.